Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on February 1st, 2025 at approximately 9:02 p.m. PST. Now, I've made it my life's journey to remind people that working together we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the exact same philosophies I use to guide virtually every decision I make. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me and have worked for literally thousands of other people over the years with varying degrees of success, depending on their own personal efforts. Now, today we are carrying on with attaining success in your life, but today we are focusing on patience and the purpose of it. Operation Shutdown, you are actually in with the goal today. How's it going there, Operation? Now, we do have Storm in the background, keeping an eye on things to make sure tech runs properly. Okay, as well as making sure that any potential problem children are not problem children by the time they get to me. Okay, because I don't know about you, but I've had enough heart attacks in one life, and stress will do that. But when we are talking about patience, we are talking about literally, you've got everything in motion, but remember, it did not take you just a moment or just a day to get into the mess you're in. Okay, it has taken you potentially years. In my case, it took decades. So once you got things moving and you're being consistent and persistent in what you're doing, in the path you're now following, you've got to have the patience to let it take place. Okay, now with all this in mind, the first thing you've got to remind yourself of is this is a long game. This is not a quick fix. There's so many people out there that go, oh, I've got this neat path, this neat little trick for you, and you can change this in your life with just 7 seconds of work. You can change your life a week down the road. I don't have that kind of patience, ironically. So I developed a couple of things that in under 6 seconds, you can change your life today. But you got to have the patience and the focus to actually do the work yourself. All the prayers in the world, they're great. Okay, positive affirmations, think positively. It's ironic in a lot of ways, I've got a free newsletter available at the link at the Buy Me a Coffee link at the top of the stream. Okay, that's at buymeacoffee.com/innervoicej. Okay, any of the books that I'm talking about, any of the philosophies, the consulting, all of it is accessible there. Even if what you're aiming at doing is simply supporting the work we're doing. Because let's face it, let's see here. If I grab my brain box, we have 653. So 653 times 60, which is the average view that we've got. We have about 40,000 people that are getting to see this message. But that's 40,000 out of, seriously, 8 billion. Now, assuming that 2 billion of those have no access to the net, you're still looking at only 40,000 people out of 6 billion. So we've got to stay focused, and rest assured, that's a little bit of a challenge on occasion. The important thing with the patience thing is you've got to stay at it. Okay? Yes, you've got to do the same work. If you're looking at gardening, you're gardening once a week, sometimes once a day, depending on the plant. But I will guarantee, when it comes to feeding animals or feeding yourself, You certainly want to be eating at least once a day, but you gotta have the patience to see the effects of your persistent work. Like where it comes to weightlifting, it's going to take persistence and a regular routine. Doesn't mean you have to go to the gym. Doesn't mean that at all, but it does mean you've got to have a steady work routine. And then you've got to have the patience to see that happen. You've heard the term, I'm sure you've heard the term, a watched pot never boils. Okay, which is overstated, but eternity eternal, you are in with the silver. How you doing? Glad you could join us. Now, the nice part is the neat thing here is I ended up having a bit of a rough day today. So I turned around and grabbed a nap. When was it? From about 5:30 to 7. Okay. So I will likely be doing a lot of writing on the book that we've been dealing with here, as in attaining success in your life. Okay. I've already got the backbone of it written. Now it's a question of going through, getting it all documented. Then we'll turn it into a PDF. I'm pushing to get this one done because that was the way I started the idea here. Okay. Intriguingly enough, there was an original title for this. I've decided to change it a little and pop it into the Believe in Your series, where we are looking at patience. It is not a strong suit of mine, I'll tell you that right now. I've come to the conclusion that I waited way too long for things. Blue Cruz, how you doing? Yeah, glad you could join us. And you are in with the bronze there, Blue Cruz. The thing is, and this is why I decided I am, even with all the stress I've been going through, with all the hiccups and the challenges, I have decided very firmly that for the foreseeable future, I will be staying with this stream and the Day in the Office stream, which takes place between 4:30 and 6:30 p.m. PST on Fridays and Mondays, or Mondays and Fridays, depending. But you've got to have the patience. You get the idea in your head. This is what I'm aiming for. Do not let anybody tell you it cannot be, you cannot make a living at it. The whole catch to it is this: marketing, marketing, marketing. In other words, the best tool in the world is absolutely useless if nobody knows about it. And in case you hadn't noticed, I have been doing an absolutely pathetic job on the marketing side. Now, where is this? That is so. My list method. Okay. And I really have to remind myself, in case you hadn't noticed, I do have to push my own limits and really go, okay, I know I'm not entirely certain what I'm doing, but I also know that my instincts will sort things out in a hurry. I appreciate the support there, Operation. I look at it, and unfortunately, I know myself, my stress level is at an all-time high. The simplest thing with technology, well, no, not all time. Simplest things with technology tend to hiccup with me. Okay. But where, pray tell, is my pen? There. I don't think I throw things out. This is actually it's actually a pen holder. Well, I think it was supposed to be a cup that I got when I was a kid. But I am looking for a pen. So the reality of it is, when we are dealing with patients, okay, it's a question of realizing you did not get into the situation you're in overnight. Like, ow. Not to worry, that's just a hiccup. But the reality is, I've got a valve in my chest that is supposed to go only one way, one direction. But when I get a hiccup, it tries to go both directions at once. That is called painful. But I don't throw useful things out. Okay, but this is a neat little cup. I used to have 3 of them. Okay, but they came from back when I was a child, because I was before I hit 6 years old. Before I got to kindergarten, I was already studying dinosaurs. Now, when I'm looking at patients decades back, and I wonder if I've got it. Well, I know I got it somewhere. I've got to dig that out, so I will find that. Probably, way back in 2007, I laid out the idea. I laid out the superstructure to build an active recovery center. Okay, all the way up to having a complete board of advisors. And understand one thing: I'm building it now. I'm just starting out in a fashion I didn't even know was possible at the time. I'm starting the network out by reaching out to people. So right now we've got a decentralized system. Okay, absolutely. I'm still sitting in the driver's seat. The reality is I will not be getting a board of directors. And here's why. My understanding of board of directors in corporations is a board of directors actually has the right to fire you, the owner, from the business. I'm not taking that chance. And there's lots of people that will tell me, well, corporations aren't all like that. I don't care. Okay, I really don't. I know some corporations are very true to their owner, where the board of directors will back them up. I'm not silly enough to take that chance with my experience. But I will end up having a board of advisors. And I will tell you, I've got right now that I would actually call, I don't know if I'd call it officially. Actually, I would. Right now, I've got 4 people. 4? 1, 2, 3, 4 people that are actually on my board of advisors. Okay. And the difference here is this. I designed this whole setup to handle all levels of healing, all levels of education, all levels of knowledge. Okay. I laid it out that way very intentionally. But a board of advisors, I simply turn to the individuals and go, this is what I'm striving to do. How do I get it to happen? Then if I like what they say, I decide yes. Or if I don't like it, I decide no. But I have to have the patience, and I've got to develop it in a lot of ways to let this start to grow. Okay, even today, I tried doing something by just doing what's supposed to happen on the internet. I pushed the buttons that it said, and the thing hiccuped right then. So I have no idea how to gauge. Whenever I'm looking at technology, I have to turn to other people and go, somebody sort this out, because this isn't working for me. It doesn't necessarily make sense. And where your patience comes in, whatever your goal, whatever that dream is you've got, absolutely remember that almost all dreams can be attained. Now, if your dream is to fly without any sort of aerial conveyance, I'm telling you, you might run into a problem. I have seen it done. Okay, I have seen actual flight in the physical world. Don't expect you to believe me. I'm certainly not about to prove it. But the bigger challenges can take a little longer. Oh, okay. There's a piece I didn't know. But now that you see, Operation Shutdown has said, Krukey, Steve Jobs got ousted by the board of directors of his own company, Apple Computer, in '86. Now, I knew Steve Jobs had left. I didn't know that he had been ousted by his board of directors. But here's the kicker. Steve Jobs created something Okay, what he did was he went, I'm an idiot. Well, no, he didn't do that. Steve Jobs went, you, the individual, require a computer that does the creative thinking for you. Period. He didn't say, I'm going to see if it's required. He turned around and went, you require this. And this is why I said I'm an idiot. Okay. This neat little book here. This funny one here. Believe in yourself and follow your dreams. Now, it's not a big book. Okay. In physical form like this, if you go to the Buy Me a Coffee link at the top of the stream at buymeacoffee.com/innervoiceJ, you can get this ordered online directly from me in your hand pretty much anywhere in the world, okay, for $20 Canadian. On the flip side, if you prefer the PDF version, okay, that can be attained at the same location for only $10 almost instantaneously. Now here's the thing. I've been told by many people this is literally the backbone of how I turned my life around. I've been told by countless people that the tools in this book, it's not that they're unique, it's that they're put in simple terms. And they make a lot of the other tools, and a lot of the other books make sense. Okay, if you're having trouble, that's a new word for you. If you're having trouble, okay, getting yourself organized, finding a way to move forward, okay, I'm going to tell you point blank, this has the key to make it happen. Okay, not only did I give you the keys, but I gave you the reason why you don't desire to do it in the first place. Because my thought was real simple. I take a look at people, and I so often get asked the same question time and time and time again. Okay, I get asked, how do you start? I'll go, this is what you've got to do in the personal turnaround, and I don't get it. Well, I don't want to do that. Okay? Don't do that. But if you don't do that, if you don't do what I'm suggesting, you're staying on the path you're on. Okay? That's why I wrote this the way I did. Here's the tool. Now, here's the number one reason why you likely don't desire to do it. Because my thinking was this. Okay? If I tell you why you likely don't desire to do it, I take the main one out of the equation, and I've just eliminated that barrier for you. Okay, now you're going to still have to get off your tail feathers, and you're going to have the patience to make it happen. Okay, I mean, instantaneous. And I've done this before. Okay, this is what lack of patience will do. I desire this. I desire this pen to end up on the counter right in front of those white drawers you see behind me. I don't have the patience. I desire it instantaneously. Push of a button and I get what I desire. Okay. That's what lack of patience does. But you'll notice it didn't land on the counter. So I'm going to do it again. But this is the impact of patience. Okay. You get up. Have the patience to drag your tail off the chair. Pick the pencil up, put it on the counter, and you don't have to pick it up off the floor. Now, the neat part there is you've done the work, you've had the patience to see it through, and now you've attained what you're aiming for. But it boils down to this. All the thinking, all the wishful thinking in the world doesn't matter. Okay? Because unless you drag your tail feathers off the couch or off the chair away from the office desk, unless you drag your own tail off it, it's not going to get done. No matter how much you think about it, no matter how much you pray. Ever hear the term God helps those that help themselves? Well, he wasn't talking about thieves. He was referring to those that get up and do the work. Okay, they're the ones that will get ahead. This funny little book will give you all of that in a nutshell. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not stopping doing this stream. Okay, at least not for the foreseeable future. What is today? This is Saturday. Okay. Oh, I gotta talk to Storm and LA about this anyway, but it just dawned on me. I'm not going to be on air on Monday because my fiance is coming into town on Monday, and the first night she's going to be exhausted anyway, so I'm just not going on air, but I will clear that up. Now, needless to say, bearing in mind, Storm is in the office right now. He's in the background. Ellie is right there. Okay, so they already know, but I'll be solidifying that. So I gotta move that one more strip down the road because I won't be able to do it Monday. Tomorrow is Sunday, which is there. Okay, that's good. So we're gonna have to bounce things back a little. But welcome to the hiccup of my life. But you've got to have the patience. Get a vision in your head. Okay, absolutely get it locked down solid. From there, start making the changes, but have you'll hold on to that thought. It's going to take time to turn it around. This is not something that is going to just happen on its own accord. It's something that's going to take some work. Okay, so you're going to have the patience and continue doing the work long enough for it to happen. When we take a look at the idea of dropping weight, okay, I tried weight loss medication. That was a great idea. Caused a heart attack, but 3 days after I started taking it, I had a heart attack, and I went, this is a really good medication. If you die, you'll drop weight. It's a really bad way of doing it. So I got a goal in my mind, and it boiled down to I hit 246 and went, I'm not breaking the 250. It's just not happening. So I set about doing one simple thing, cutting back on the amount I ate, the amount of calories I brought in, as compared to the amount of calories I put out, that I expended. Net result, 2 patient, long working years later, I've dropped 60 pounds. Okay. And I'm not complaining about that at all. Where am I here? That. Let's see. 246 minus 183. 63 pounds, of course. Okay. So 2 arduous years later of focused determination, and this is where patience come in. I decided I wasn't happy at that weight. I'm now pushing to get down under 180. Okay. So the reality is patience will pay off. Okay. Now, right now, I actually have that should be, whoop, that's February. Oh, I put it away. That's okay. That'll wait. When we look at it, you get a goal in mind. You're aiming to, for instance, buy a replacement living room suite. Okay. Now, you could rent to own and get it right away. Okay. But you're likely going to be paying upwards of double what you would if you save for it. But you've got to have the patience, and right hand in hand with patience comes discipline. Okay. It's not motivation you may be having trouble with. It's discipline. Okay. And this is why I've got a couple of clients I literally will contact just to make sure they're staying on track. But I contact myself daily via this neat little, didn't want that to happen, via this neat little list method. Okay. This works. but it requires patience, persistence, and a definite amount of discipline to make it happen. Now, the hard part is believing that you can actually do it, especially in today's world where everybody seems to push the idea of instant gratification. Okay, these things, they're a great tool. They really are. Okay, your cell phone is a fabulous tool. But I will tell you, as the tool goes, I think it's a better tool than many of the people I've run into. You know, that was rude. But the fact with patience is this: get an idea in your head. In most of the time, you can actually achieve it. This is why I've got this very simple belief structure. When your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, you can achieve it. I really am a bit dense. Yeah, and the thing there, Operation, is that it's the fact that you can recognize that gives you the upper hand. Most people, I kid you not, most people don't even realize that's the problem. Okay, but this is also, this idea of the discipline is the same thing with walking. A child, when they first learn, they've got the motivation to get up. They've got the motivation to walk. So they get up, struggle to get to their feet. That's the motivation part. Then they take that first step. They get the one step forward. Okay, that's your first step. Now, people tell you that's the hardest. I'm telling you that's not the hardest. Okay, because you take that first step, and usually it's a question of balance. But immediately you take the second step. Now you've regained your balance. You've got forward motion going. Now comes the problem with patience and persistence. Okay, now you've got to deliberately take that back foot and move again. Same thing applies with what I'm working with. Where are we here? We have because finances have finally turned around, I am entering into a couple of other areas where it comes to this message that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. I've got all these books. I've got this great big empire I'm looking at. Okay, you've got dreams. Let me ask you this. Now, I've heard people in here mention certain dreams, certain goals they've had, such as and I'm going to call it simple, but it really isn't, such as breaking an addictive habit, okay, can be a royal pain in the neck, okay. Some people just desire to have a stable roof over their head. Can be a pain in the neck. But I'm telling you, working through it, you can make it happen. Now, I'll tell you, I was heartsick. Somebody reached out to me for help the other day, and I physically did not have the finances to assist with. Okay, and that was because of my own stupidity. Now, no, it is not my job, it is not your job to take care of everybody out there, but it is our job to reach out, and for those that have the ability, it is their responsibility. It is, if you've got the ability, if you've got the strength, it is your responsibility as a member of this civilization to protect those that don't, to assist those that are having trouble. Karmic law is pretty cut and dried. Energy out, energy in. Okay, you desire this world to become a better world. You're going to have the patience to change your world. And that simply means identify what you're not content with and start adjusting the energy flow. Now, here's a neat little kicker. Okay, because I'm going to be getting into certain things, and I love the idea of drop shipping. I really do. I've got to look into it for a number of things. But I'm still a very firm believer that when I'm looking at it, okay, when I'm looking at the goals that I've got, maybe I'm a bit of a control freak, but I like to be hands-on so I know what's going on. Okay, one of the things that you will find, remember, running a household and running a business, they are the same principles. So, with that in mind, what do I do with it? Put them back. With that in mind, when I wrote Believe in Your Business and Follow Your Dreams, okay, I did that. Now, these are all little tools. They're simple tools from back when I was a kid and earlier, okay, that work like a charm. But you got to remember, as it said, if you've got a business, it's obviously a business. If you're running a household, it's the same principle. And if we go back 2 months and you look at the movie Scrooge, mankind should be all of our business. Okay? And when I say mankind, understand, for those of you that are really caught in some absolutely bizarre outlook, man means, frankly, if you're human, if you're not human, anybody, it is up to all of us interwoven. Okay? Don't get hung up on the pronoun. It literally means civilization is all of our responsibility. And if we, more to the point, when we work together, we will get there. Now, let me ask you this. You've got a poem you've written. Now, before the internet came out, there was a neat little thing. The basic rule was this. Take whatever you're writing, whatever you're striving to get turned out, okay, turn it into a book. Get the manuscript written, send it off to 100 potential publishers. If you were lucky, now we're talking 30 years ago, if you were lucky, you might get 3 responses out of 100. And those are likely to be no. Okay, for those of you that think that your goal, whatever your dream is too big, okay, it's time to pare it down. Don't give up on it. The only time you fail with attaining a dream is when you stop working towards it. In today's world, it doesn't take you months to find out nobody's taking it. It takes you moments, maybe a few days. Okay, but the internet has created all kinds of neat little things. And this is why I am starting to pull things together really quickly to make things happen. Okay, because the time for patience, the time for procrastination, they go hand in hand almost. It'll happen when its time is right. Newsflash, the time for success is now. Okay, the time for procrastination is long over. Okay, think of it this way. I thought about putting off doing the writing tonight, and I decided not to bother. Okay, in other words, not to bother putting it off. The same thing applies to you. Whatever your dream, whatever your goal. Now, it was brought to my attention, somebody mentioned the other day, and as I've told you guys, I don't use names very often. The people that know who they are. Okay, but somebody made the suggestion of mine going on their stream. Okay, and I'm very blunt about this. Contact me. I'll be happy to work things out. It's that simple. Thus far, not happened. That's okay. I came to the understanding Absolutely, Storm. Thank you very much. I came to the conclusion one of the big reasons I'm going to continue with this stream is it helps me stay focused. When I start to wear down, I pop the stream up. Okay. I pop the stream up and get my head back on straight. Now, because I slept for an hour and a half late in the afternoon, odds are I'll be up until 1 or 2 in the morning. Okay. But that's my world. See, my son stumbled across something that was really neat. Apparently, because I will regenerate, I'll regenerate my energy levels in 3 to 4 hours, where it takes most people 6 to 8. This is why I don't sleep much. But apparently, there's this funny thing called short sleep syndrome. Now, it started out, I was looking at the world, going, everybody talks about requiring 8 hours of sleep. And my first thought was, well, if you're sleeping 8 hours out of 24, you're sleeping a third of your life away. So I asked a simple question. What would happen if you cut your hours of sleep a night to 4 without losing quality of life? In other words, your health doesn't drop off, your energy doesn't drop off. What would happen? Okay, and here's what I found out. I had the patience, and in this case, the mathematical capacity, basic math, to figure it out. And literally, if you cut your hours of sleep to 4 hours a night, over the course of a year, you gain a full month and a half of living time. You can get a lot accomplished in that time. Now, if your health is dropping, you require more sleep. But here's one of the neat little kickers. Pick a time to get up in the morning. Don't worry about when you're going to bed. Pick a time to get up. Now, I look at it very simply. I've got a vision in my head. You've got a vision in your head. In all likelihood, and don't take offense to this if you can avoid it, odds are your vision isn't very well developed. Okay, it's probably just what you call, or what other people have told you, is a pipe dream. Get on that pipe dream and build a pipe organ. The neat part about it is you've got the ability to get on and to get your own life back in your control and reclaim power over your life. Now, here's the kicker. You regain power over your life and you watch the interaction you have with the people around you. They too will start to change the way their life is going. And it's these little bubbles of hope, these little bubbles of change that are going to make this world a better place for virtually everybody, in spite of the state the world's in. Now, I will still tell you, I do not watch the news. I catch little glimpses of it, and the little glimpses I get are enough to tell me the world's a mess. But I look at my apartment, I look at this one room and go, the mess that I've got here, this is nothing compared to what it used to be. Well, it's something a whole lot better. But this is what I mean by you've got to have the patience. Get an image clear in your head, however you desire to do it. Okay, just imagine, what would it be like if you didn't trip over the stuff in your hallway? What would it be like if that information, if that stuff was out of the way? What would it be like if you could wake up in the morning feeling refreshed? Okay, what kind of a life would you have if your finances were in balance? Okay, all of these things require patience because they're all going to require time. Society has pushed the limits and gone, you desire your life to be better now. Okay, I've got a 7-second tool for you. 7 seconds and a week down the road, you can change your life. I'm telling you, I'm giving you 6 seconds to change your life in 7 seconds. This funny little idea. Believe in yourself and follow your dreams. Okay. This neat little tool, if you haven't done it already, this neat little tool here, okay, I am worth it. Those 4 words, get them on your fridge tonight, okay? Even if it means take a sheet of paper and write them right now while we're sitting here, okay? As soon as the stream's over, take them and tape them to the front, to your fridge freezer. The fridge is the one place, perfect storm. The fridge is the one appliance in the house that virtually anybody entering the kitchen will read whatever's there. This is why parents have a tendency of taking kids' artwork and pinning it to the fridge, or taping it, or putting a magnet to it. Okay, because everybody looks at it. I've got one on my office desk right here above my monitor. One in my kitchen on the fridge freezer, and one on the front door to my apartment. Okay, and I've had people knock on my door because of what I wrote. Okay, now understand, on the front door, it's an apartment. I did not burn it into the apartment door. I didn't carve it in or write on an indelible ink. I took a sheet of paper and turned it into and all I did was write, I am worth it. Have the patience. If you haven't done it already, okay, realistically, 1, 3, 8, it's 10 letters plus 10 letters plus 10 letters plus 3 spaces and an exclamation mark. Okay, so we're looking at 14 spaces. That's it. So it doesn't require a lot of time. Get it done. Okay, don't just take my word for it. Do your own research. Get it up now. Some people have told me they put that sign in their bathroom because that's where they really get a chance to look at themselves. Because oddly enough, and I don't like doing this, okay, oddly enough, they go, oh, I go to the mirror in the morning and look at how I'm dealing with how I'm looking. I'm like, I avoid the mirror in the morning. Of course, I'm stuck looking at this image, because I can see me right here. I don't look at myself much. Okay, this is pretty much a black and white thing for me. But you've got to have the patience to see your efforts through. Okay, absolutely. Patience and stubborn streak go hand in hand. I'm lucky. Okay, I was born with a stubborn streak from guess where? I've got my water here. It's a good thing, too. Thank you very much there, Storm. We've just been informed we're down to the 15 minutes. Now, patience is extremely important. Storm, I think you were still in the background, but I'll be talking to you afterwards anyway. I have decided, because Kira is coming into town on Monday, I'm not going to do a show Monday night. She's going to be exhausted, and therefore that's where my priority is going. But I will be here on Tuesday, so it's going to be a little sketchy over this week, because we'll be here on Sunday, and of course, where are we here? Tomorrow, we are dealing with the paranormal for beginners, for the people that are just popping in. The most ingenious thing anybody ever did. Okay, and I tried figuring out who it was that did it. But the most ingenious thing anybody ever did was take a simple concept and turn it into and complicate it. Okay, now I will one day when we get into when I end up talking to somebody about religion. Okay, because I'm not touching it right now. But I know who came up with complicating the simplest guideline in existence, but the most ingenious thing anybody ever did was it complicated a simple idea. Okay, and for you, it's this way. It's this simple. You desire to see change in this world. Become the change you desire to see. Okay, now I'm looking at the basics of life. Okay, but what I'm doing is this. I've got this whole stream, positive perceptions, and we can thank L.A. Moon for coming up with that title. Okay, rest assured, positive perceptions, we've got to look at the positive things going on in this world. My newsletter, which is about to become a magazine, simply because I'm putting a cover together for it. Okay, as near as I can figure, the only difference between a newsletter and a magazine is the front cover. Okay, so I'm an absolute idiot. I really am. And I know that term is supposed to be derogatory for many people. Calling myself an idiot, it simply boils down to this. I've been trying to figure out what to put on the front cover of Positive Perspectives. Okay. And I finally figured out I even know how to get it done. Okay. So it boils down to this. Okay. Because I now know exactly what I'm up to. I know who to talk to, the whole 9 yards. Can't get it done until Monday. Because I know who to go and get it done by. But I look at it, I've got those in the positive perception stream and positive perspectives. Okay. I'm telling you, it really does help keep me focused on it because I fight depression consistently. And unfortunately, it's really taken a toll on my temper control. I mean, my vocal temper control. Okay. So I've got to really focus on that and get it under control. Okay. Not because anybody else said I have to. It's because that's the way I see it. Okay. But you desire your life to change. It is time to get off your tail feathers and make it happen. Okay, but you've got to have the patience to put the effort in and watch things grow. Okay, this is where I'm looking at it. Now, I've had money come in now. We're now at the beginning of October. We're now at the beginning of October. Time is a great thing. It's just gone. Okay, we're now at the beginning of February. I had some money come in. I cannot afford to put more money out than what comes in. Starting effective when? Wait for it. Now. Okay, effective immediately. You desire your finances to change in a positive fashion. Take a look at whatever money comes in from this moment forth. Okay, do not spend more than what comes in. It's that simple. Okay, if you do, things are going to stay the same way they always have. But now is the time to change it. Okay, and I don't mean next week. I don't mean wait until the 1st of March, because the 1st is a great day. We're going to start your life the 1st of the new year. Now, okay, granted, it is not based on an arbitrary date set by somebody else. Because as far as I was aware, 15 years ago, there were 6, at that point, I knew of 6 different calendars that were operating today. Okay, so I look at it going, a new year starts, there's one, and another new year. And this is why we start it now. Okay, but you've got to have the image, get the picture in your head. What are you aiming for? Me, it's simple. When I look at my weight, okay, I targeted getting below 200. It's like, I'm not going over 250. So my first goal was break 200. I got that. I dropped the weight a little. I got that because I dropped it to 190. Now I'm pushing to break 180. Okay. Now I'm not about to get down to 140. The medical reports say at my height I should. I'm not going to bother because 180 is pretty much healthy. But that was my goal on weight. My goal on finances is simple. Every month, make certain I've got more left in my bank at the end of the month than I had at the beginning of the month. It wasn't 12, it was, now it wasn't much of a change. Okay. But I had in my possession, okay, about $50 more by the end of the month, by the end of January, than I had at the beginning of January. That's called a massive success. Now, starting effective immediately, I know how much money came in. I'm not letting any money go out that is going over that limit. And yes, this means you gotta have an understanding of where your finances are. Okay, how much is coming in? And this is why I wrote this. And again, same idea. Believe in your finances and follow your dreams can be achieved by the link to buy me a coffee at the top of the stream, which is buymeacoffee.com/innervoicej. I'm telling you, if you're having trouble with finances, this is not a get rich quick. This is a slow and sure method of making your money work based on what you've got coming in. Now, do I know this works? Absolutely. I'm living proof of it. Don't take my word for it. This is why, by going to the PDFs form, you now can get it instead of paying $20, which is a physical form. Okay, and they certainly come with my signature and a neat little bookmark that says, I am worth it. Okay, but if you pay the $10, same form, okay, but it happens to be digital. You get it immediately, not a couple of weeks down the road. The moment you get it, the moment you pay it, it's yours. Your life starts to change the moment you receive it. The second you read the title. Okay, but you've got to have the patience to make it happen. And you're the one that's going to be responsible for it. Government's not going to come in and change your finances for you. At least not for the better. Okay, not from what I've seen. And all the promises in the world don't work that well in my eyes. Okay, you've got to put the effort in yourself. But I will tell you, if there were tools that I had, and yes, I wrote them. Call it touting my own horn. These are written in simple terms, in larger than normal print, so that you can read them. Okay, without a whole lot of effort. The nice part about it is I'm keeping this going because this helps keep me focused. So as soon as this stream is done, I will turn around and I will get to work tying off another book. Okay, the fact of the matter is, this will help keep me organized. And I know for a certainty, if you stay with us, we will help you stay organized and stay motivated. Now, I've just been told we've reached the 5-minute mark. So I do want to say thank you so very much for sharing your time with us tonight. Really appreciate it. Tomorrow, which is Sunday the 2nd of February, we will be here at 10 p.m. PST. Okay. And we will be discussing the paranormal for beginners. Okay. So until then, do take